Welcome to Video Game Clutter. Now, for some reason, while I can usually settle with an article or reviewing everything else I review here at the Clutter Reports, movies, toys, comics, card organizing, with video games, I feel the need to show you the game in action. When I did the review of WrestleMania the arcade game, I hunted down video of the game being played. Well, at least one of those videos is down now, and a number of the games I own and will thus review, I couldn't find any clips of at all. So my response is this little show, where I take a look through the video games in my collection and decide which ones should stay and which ones I'm going to sell off, possibly to make room for more games, or Transformers, or something. I'm not sure yet. Well, for the first episode, I decided to take a look at some of the systems I own and to give you an idea of whether or not you'll be interested in these reviews. Now, my goal here is the same as it is in the articles. A way to go through my games, while at the same time encouraging you to perhaps go through your own video game library and decide which ones you should keep and which ones you have no intention of playing again. Some people want to say every NES game ever produced. That's being completist, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as the obsession doesn't ruin your life. This is more about having a collection that you can enjoy. And for me, it includes a collection that's small enough for me to go through and play with. And I got to do that over 5 different gaming platforms. For example, the ATARI 800. Back when both the 2600 was the dominant gaming platform and personal computing was becoming popular, ATARI decided to try and merge the two. The ATARI personal computers came in a number of models, including the 400 and 1200, in both regular and XL lines. Earlier versions of the system had memory modules that you would add to boost the memory of the computer. But I own a later model 800, full memory. The games run on these old-style game cartridges. The games and a few other programs like Atari Basic went in the left slot, while the right slot was reserved for... Beats me, I never had a cartridge that used the right slot. Additionally, my dad decided that the program recorder, which recorded data onto cassettes, was better than the disk drive because the cassettes were cheaper. Not that it mattered, since the system was sadly on its way out when we got it. But there was one extra advantage. See, there's this command in Atari Basic that would allow you to play music, regular cassettes, through the program recorder, using the TV as the speakers. I incorporated that command into a program. Well, why don't I just show you? So I'm kneeling here by the TV like that. I'm only doing this to show off, mind you. See, I could make a fake FBI-style warning, just to be funny. Oh, so it may take as long. Sure, today anybody could do a much better job and make their own DVD, but first time, I think I was quite clever. The graphics are far superior to the 2600, and there are a lot of good games. This will be tougher to give a goes decision to, not only for nostalgia, but because this collection is well organized. At the time we picked up a storage box for the 800's games, which I haven't done for any of the other games on this list. So there's really less clutter involved, unlike the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES for short. This is thought by some to be the console that saved the home video game market. As you see, I hold the older version with a front loading slot. Sometime before the NES faded away, they redesigned it with a top load feature. There are benefits to both styles, really. This is just the one I happen to have. They also redesigned the controller. I only own one of those. The NES still brings back fond memories to many gamers today, while maybe only a few of us would look back on the Atari the same way. They do have some good games. Of course, they also take up the most room. Some of them don't have boxes or even manuals because I got them used, and they make the most clutter. The system also requires a lot of cleaning, with a special cleaning tool to do it right, and good luck finding those these days. You can find cleaning tips online, but some of them involve actually opening up the system. For a klutz like me, who isn't always comfortable going inside the machinery, this is a scary prospect. True story, by the way. I was in this department store with some friends of mine, and we're in the video game department. A lady comes up to us and asks us if we want some free games. Seems that her son did something that he shouldn't have, and this was his punishment. No, I felt sorry for the kid. I hope whatever he did wrong was worthy of that punishment. But free games. Once we were sure the lady was legit, we had free games. Not going to argue with that.
The Compact Disc Interactive System, or CDI. This system gets a lot of flack, and I'm not sure it deserves most of it. The biggest problem is that it was poorly marketed and relied too much on full motion video, a gaming format that just didn't work as well as it wanted to. Philips Interactive Media really didn't sell this like a traditional gaming console, treating it more like a multimedia VCR style system, even building more than one model. You could play video CDs on it, which would have been great had the digital versatile disc, or DVDs to most of us, not come along with a better quality picture and the ability to put a whole movie on one disc rather than two discs, plus special features.
Now, the model I have is actually set up more like a gaming system, but there is one slight problem. Here's a little behind the scenes for the show. I have no way of capturing game footage from the consoles itself, so I'm actually going to be using ROMs and emulators to get my footage. Now, for those of you who don't know, ROMs are a copy of the game made into a version that can be played on the computer through an emulator. Technically, they're illegal. I'm only going to keep it long enough to get the footage that I need, because I already own the game. There's no point in having it. But the problem I mentioned is that there is no ROM for the CDI. There's no emulator that I can play the discs on my computer. Well, there is one, but it requires me to download things off the CDI itself, and we just went over how scared I am to mess with the inner workings. Plus, I don't know where to find this cable you're supposed to use. My only hope is that I can find someone who owns the same games I do on the CDI that can capture the footage for me, at least until I get a video capture device. Otherwise, I'd have to record the TV screen with the camera, and it won't look very good.
The Nintendo Game Boy Advance, or GBA for short. I also own the Game Boy Pocket, but this thing needs battery life like you wouldn't believe, and it's only in black and white. I'm considering putting this one up for sale. Video game store GameStop recently declared the GBA a collectible, but I enjoy a number of the games that are available for this system, and I'm not giving it up. Besides, the current handheld systems don't play any version of the Game Boy games. The Game Boy was the first handheld game system, and its descendants today, the Nintendo DS and 3DS, still hold dominance in the handheld gaming market. This system suffers from a small screen and questionable lighting, but both were improved in the later SP model. So here I have this cover with a built-in magnifier and light. It works well enough to play it. No capture device is going to allow me to get footage from this, so this will all be done on the emulator. But again, my review will be based on playing it on its native system. And finally we get to the personal computer, PC. This one will probably show up the least unless I can't get anyone to record CDI footage, for the simple fact that most of the games are longer to play through. At least I can capture footage from the right system, but some of my games are so old that I won't be able to play them at all. There is an emulator called DOSBox that will allow me to play the old DOS games, but I'm pretty much out of luck when it comes to Windows 95 games, so we'll have to see what happens.
And there you have it. All the platforms I'll be delving into to see what I still enjoy playing and what isn't for me anymore. And which just sucked on arrival. I don't know if I have a system yet for which platform I'll review what from when. I'm probably just going to pick whatever one I feel like playing at the time, play it for about an hour, write the review, try to get the footage that I need to match the narration, and then produce the episode. Most of which I'm hoping will be shorter than this one. But most of my time will still be spent with written articles here at the Clutter Reports. They're easier and allow me to get more cleaning and organizing done, which is the whole point. So don't expect these videos on any kind of particular schedule. In the meantime, keep reading the Clutter Reports and join me for the next Video Game Clutter, where we separate the games from the clutter. Okay, I know technically it's still a game even if it's clutter, but I wanted to come up with a tagline to end each episode on.